Hello students. Today's topic we are going to discuss regarding thermoregulation in neonates. It's a revision class. You know very well thermoregulations in neonates. It's specified in two forms. One is hypothermia, another one is hyperthermia. So depends on this. First, you want to see about hypothermia. Hypothermia is one of the main concern in neonates because the child can't or the child bodies or the physiological process fails to maintain the body temperature properly due to the following reasons. So before that, we want to see why worry about thermoregulations. Mainly, the body temperature is one of the primary vital signs in terms of airway breathing and circulations. So the degree of temperature is one of the most concern in maintenance of the ABC. Then goal of thermoregulations, maintain correct body temperature range in order to maximize metabolic efficiency. So metabolism is depends on this. Then reduce oxygen use. So excess consumption or excess workload will not be present. It will be functioning smoothly. Then protect enzyme functions. So enzyme functions will not be damaged or affected because if temperature is not maintained, metabolic function will be affected. Automatically the oxygen carrying capacity and delivering capacity also will be affected. Then enzyme functions also will affect. Then reduce caloric expenditure also. So challenges of thermoregulations in neonatal care. So prior to delivery, infant do not maintain temperature independently. So infant in uterus usually minimum, if you are taking generally 0.5 degrees Celsius higher than mother's temperature. Okay, so rapid cooling occurs after delivery. So as I said, we can able to say the breast, the milk producing breast, how much temperature it used to have, same temperature will be maintained inside. Next, neurological adaptation, particularly thermoregulations. So during thermoregulation, what are the neurological adaptation? So maintenance of body temperature is a major task. So skin is thin for the neonates and blood vessels are close to the surface. So have little subcutaneous fat to serve as barrier to heat loss. So these are playing a main role on this one of the maintenance of body temperature because skin is thin. So the skin easily it will reflect the temperature which one they are getting exposed. Okay, or easily they will get affected. The next, the blood vessels are very close to the surface, so same thing will be reflected towards the blood vessels also. The term infants have 3 into the surface to body mass of an adult, so 3 times. Then preterm infants and small for gestational age infants have 4 times the body surface mass to that when you are comparing to the adult. So next, preterm infants are especially susceptible to heat loss due to poor tone, less fat and thinner skin than term infant. So more prone to have the problem are preterm infants. So these are the neurological adaptation. Neurological adaptation, what are they? Due to thin skin, then blood vessels are very close to the surface. Then you can able to see that subcutaneous fats are very less, so they will act as uh, barrier for some extent only little extent. Then term infant body surface mass is 3 times when compared to the adult. Next, moving on to the thermoregulation definition. To understand the role of thermoregulation in the care of infants, we need to understand a few simple definitions. So, over that, neural thermal temperature. Neural thermal temperature is the body temperature at which an infant's oxygen use and energy expenditure are minimized. So, minimal metabolic rate and minimal oxygen consumption. This is called neural thermo neural thermal temperature. Then body temperature in the newborn infant. So body temperature, if you are going for classification of hypothermia, is based on core temperature. Normal is 36.5 to 37.3 degrees Celsius. Okay. Then cold stress is 36 to 36.4 degree Celsius. Excuse me. Moderate hypothermia is 32 to 35 degree, 35.9 degree Celsius, and severe hypothermia is below 32 degrees Celsius. Excuse me. So this is the classification of hypothermia. Hypothermia are classified into normal, cold stress, moderate hypothermia, and severe hypothermia. So over this concept, once again I repeat, it is divided into the classification of hypothermia is normal, 36.5 to 37.3 degrees Celsius. Then cold stress, 36 to 36.4 degree Celsius. Causes particularly for concern depends on the causes. Then moderate hypothermia, 32 to 35.9 degree Celsius. Danger or warm infant. Then severe hypothermia below 32 degree Celsius. Outlook grave. Skilled care urgently needed. How the neutral temperature that is going to be affected if you are seeing over the environment, neutral thermal environment, the air temperature surrounding the baby supports maintenance of a neural thermal body temperature, the air temperature surrounding the baby. So keep in concern the air temperature on the environment. The next, thermo neutrality. Thermoneutrality, when the air temperature is in the correct range and the infant's body maintains a neutral thermal temperature, we have achieved thermoneutrality. So to only in hospital maximum they used to maintain the room temperature. Then why are infant at greater risk for thermoregulation problems? So thermoregulation risk factors are premature baby, then small for gestational age, neuro problems, endocrine uh, endocrine function abnormality or endocrine functional delay in the functions or any issues, then cardiac or respiratory problems, then large open areas in the skin, then sedated infants, drug exposure. Why are they are at risk? At risk because brown adipose tissue, which is present only less, then body surface area was more. Then when you're seeing that the subcutaneous fat was less present, then glucogen storage also not sufficient for the baby to be preserve or provide the energy. Then body water content is more. Then posture of the baby. The next, hypoxia, excessive demand. The next, hypoglycemia because of the less glucose level. Then abnormal anomalies, any congenital anomalies related to cardiovascular, respiratory system. Then CNS problem. Then sedations. So these are the reason why the babies at risk to fail to maintain the temperature. So over this, what we know, infant have more skin surface per pound of body weight than older children or adult. So more skin means more radiant heat and more insensible water loss. So risk factor for preterm infant are less brown fat and glycogen stores, decreased ability to maintain flexions, increased body surface area compared to weight. What do we know? The majority of infants' thermal receptors are found in the face, neck, and shoulder. So, stimulations of these receptors will result in chilling and calorie expenditure. So, next, shivering, which is the main way in which older children and adults generate heat, is impossible or not effective in infant. Neonates and young infants generate heat by burning brown fat. Then physiological response to hypothermia, temperature regulation controlled by hypothalamus. So activates norepinephrine release triggering factors, particularly pulmonary and peripheral vasoconstrictions. The next, increased pulmonary vascular resistance. This both work will be done by triggering the hypothalamus. Particularly the norepinephrine will be activated. Their main role is pulmonary and peripheral vasoconstriction and increased pulmonary vascular resistance. Next, production of heat. Metabolic processes, voluntary muscle activity, then peripheral vasoconstrictions, non-shivering thermogenesis. By this way only the child used to produce the heat. Metabolic processes, voluntary muscle activity, peripheral vasoconstriction, and non-shivering thermogenesis. So over this metabolic process, heat generation by oxidative metabolism, glucose, fats, and protein. Then metabolic energy mainly which is absorbed in the brain, heart, and adrenal glands. Brain, heart, and adrenal glands. So voluntary muscle activity are mainly postural changes, restless movements, and limited use of newborns. So bad due to this, what happen? Voluntary muscle activity is more excessive in the infant, more active they are, more the energy will be utilized for them. At the same time, more the growth and development also will boost with the proper sufficient amount of nutritious supply. That means nothing but breastfeeding has to be sufficiently provided. Then peripheral vasoconstriction reduces skin blood flow, decreases loss of heat from the body. Non-shivering thermogenesis, metabolism of brown adipose tissue initiated in hypothalamus. So sympathetic nerve system, norepinephrine released at the site of brown fat to stimulate these vasoconstrictions. Non-shivering thermogenesis. Then what is brown fat? Brown fat already we had discussed. Brown fat is an energy source for infant. It can be found near kidney and adrenal, then neck, mediastinum, and scapular and axilla area. Cannot be replaced once used. So once the blood was flowing over them with a sufficient amount of temperature, where that will absorbed or reflected by the brown fat towards the nearing area or the entire blood circulation. So the adipose brown fat will help for this maintenance. Say example you can able to see here. In these areas it is present. So where once the blood circulation is present, these areas will use to produce the heat. So in full term infant, brown fat is 4% to 10% of adipose deposits. The preterm baby found fat will not be found until 26 to 30 weeks of gestation. The next, brown fat generally disappears 3 to 6 months after birth. Expect in cold stressed infant when it will disappear sooner. Then hypoxia causes impact of brown fat metabolism. Or once the brown fat is used, once again they can't able to utilize the brown fat. They will be no more available. So what when the air temperature around the baby is cool, thermoreceptors in the skin are stimulated. So once the air temperature around the babies are cool, automatically thermoreceptor is going to be stimulated. So non-shivering thermogenesis is initiated and brown fat is burned for energy to keep the body temperature stable. This is the infant's initial response. So got it? So the brown fat will be burned once, and by burning that one the blood used to get the absorb the temperature. At the same temperature will be circulated over the entire body. So wherever the blood used to pass over, the temperature will be reflex around the brown fat. This is particularly used when the outer environment is cool or non-shivering thermogenesis. Next, conversions of brown fat uses oxygen and glucose. Therefore, the cold stressed infant will become hypoxic and hypoglycemic. So, blood gas and glucose level are affected. So, growth is affected as calories are used to stay warm rather than grow. So, that is a main concern over here. The conversion of brown fat uses excess amount of oxygen and glucose. So therefore, if the environment is cold or during winter time, the infant will become hypoxic and hypoglycemic. You can able to see once the infant hands and feet are exposed outside, not covered properly, automatically there will be color change and cold to touch. The extremities are very cold to touch. A temperature you can able to find out. What are the signs and symptoms of hypothermia or thermal instability? Methods of heat loss we want to check. So methods of heat loss, first one is vasodilations. You can able to see what is peripheral vasodilations. Vasodilations are increased blood flow. then facilitates heat transfer from periphery to environment. Peripheral vasodilatations, dilatations, increased blood flow will be there. The next facilitates heat transfer from peripheral to environment. So the exposed area will be cool to touch. Then sweating, increased evaporative heat loss. In sweating, evaporation. So you can able to see increased evaporation will be there due to heat loss. The next, postnatal age increases the ability to sweat. Postnatal age increases the ability to sweat. Then appears first on term newborn's head. You can able to see only on the head. Healthy versus sick neonate. Healthy newborn, brown adipose tissue are active, then produces heat and loses heat as needed. Where in sick newborn or low birth weight infant, increased energy demand will be there, decreased energy storage in the body, then vulnerable to heat stress. So more concern has to be sick or low birth weight infant. Hypothermia signs and symptoms. Body cool to touch. Next, mottling or pallor. Then central cyanosis will be present. Acrocyanosis at the, we can already, over the extremities, peripheral areas. Poor feeding, abdominal distension, hypotonia, hypoglycemia, increased gastric residuals, bradycardia, tachypnea, restlessness, shallow or irregular respiration, apnea, lethargy. These all will going to be affect. Example, you can able to see due to the factor of child got exposure or evaporation or convections, you can able to see in these factor what happen, heat loss is taking place. Okay, so over the heat loss automatically that will stimulate the process or use the excess amount of oxygen and energy to produce heat with the help of the brown fat. Brown fat also used that one. After utilization of that one, then the child fails to reproduce the heat because of loss of brown fat or brown adipose tissue. So the child can't able to produce heat once again, because once the brown adipose tissue is you utilized, they can't able to reuse it. Okay, they will be burned out. So the body got exposed to the immediate environment. So either convection, then or you can able to see that evaporation, or with the help of the contact, severe contact with the objects, or the child has been placed near the door or window or below the fan. In those cases, the child automatically goes for cool. The child body goes for cool temperature. The next, motile or pallor, it will be present. The next, central cyanosis, that is cyanosis will be present. Then acrocyanosis, particularly over the extremities, this is more common. We can able to identify, or we can able to clearly see during the time of winters. Then poor feeding, due to this what happened, the temperature is not maintained, automatically the child can't able to take the feeding properly. For that also they need excess amount of energy and oxygen supply. So abdominal distension will takes place. Hypotonia, so the muscle tones are not properly developed because proper amount of oxygen supply as well as energy and temperature is not maintained. So once temperature is not maintained, automatically airway, breathing and circulation was affected. Clear? The next, signs and symptoms of hypothermia in infant, particularly in case of vasoconstriction. Peripheral vasoconstriction occurs in an effort to limit heat loss via blood vessels close to the skin surface. So, pallor or cool skin may be noted due to poor peripheral perfusions. So, this is the main signs and symptoms. If the body is, if the skin is touched cool or pallor, which indicates that peripheral vasoconstriction is not properly function, because the skin was close to the surface and exposed for a longer period of time. Then signs and symptoms of hypothermia in infant, particularly increased respiratory rate, pulmonary vasoconstriction occurs secondary to metabolic acidosis. So increasing respiratory distress related to decreased surfactant productions and hypoxia and acidosis, because the body is not maintain the saturation level of oxygen, carbon dioxide, as well as the pH level will not be maintained. Then the child bicarbonate also, automatically the child will follow into the pH level of acidosis. Next, restlessness. Restlessness may be a type of behavioral thermoregulations used to generate heat through muscle movements. The first sign may be an alteration in sleep pattern. Restlessness also indicates a change in mental status as cerebral blood flow diminishes due to vasoconstrictions. Clear. So clearly had specified in this explanation where by simple reading you can able to easily understand the concept. Next is lethargy. In thermo instability goes unrecognized, the infant will become more lethargic. As cerebral blood flow continues to diminish and hypoxemia and hypoglycemia become more pronounced. Metabolic disturbances. Metabolic acidosis is more common one. Hypoxemia, hypoglycemia, process due to continuous metabolism of brown fat, release of fatty acids and anaerobic metabolism. So this is normal process where the heat loss is present, where automatically the status pH, metabolic pH will not be maintained. Then second one, the child oxygen capacity also, the child energy level already it has been utilized excessively to compensate the heat loss. Then cardiac function, as central blood volume is increases, initially the the heart rate and blood pressure increases. Arrhythmias. Many result from depressed myocardial contractility and irritability caused by hypothermia. So poor feeding or weight loss. Poor weight gain occurs when calorie consumes brown fat stores are used to make body heat. Next, even the smallest weight loss may take days or even weeks to recover, as infants are limited in the volume of food they can eat and number of calories they can tolerate. Next, consequences: hypoxemia from increased oxygen consumption, hypoglycemia from increased glucose metabolism, respiratory and metabolic acidosis secondary to anaerobic metabolism, then inhibition of surfactant productions related to decreased acidosis. These are the main consequences where due to the non-maintenance of temperature. The next other reasons you can say decreased pulmonary blood flow related to pulmonary vasoconstriction, response to decreased body temperature. Then increased pulmonary vascular resistance compromises the delivery of oxygen at the cell level. The risk of developing this both in the near term or post term infant. Pulmonary hypothermia. Prevention of hypothermia. How we can able to prevent? Hypothermia can be prevented by maintaining a neutral thermal environment. How we can able to maintain and to reduce the heat loss? First thing is we want to maintain the room temperature. So neonatal neural temperature environment when the axillary temperature remains 36.5 degree to 37.3 degree with minimal oxygen and calorie consumption, which indicates the room temperature was sufficient enough. The next, reduction of heat loss. Consider four ways by which the neonates experience heat loss and intervene approximately. So the four ways has to be properly initiated, and that has to be have this four ways. If you are seeing four ways, if you are seeing the four ways of heat loss are like evaporation due to excessive sweat, then convections due to hair heat loss by air. The next, conductions, direct contact with an object where the infant has been placed on the directly on the example like over the bed, the cold environment, or over the table was too much cold. Or next, radiations, uh, the child need immediate exposure radiations like near to the door or near to the window. So next, prevention of these four areas has to be managed properly. So what happened? The evaporation of the heat loss. So excessive sweating should not take place. So we want to see that an infant was more comfortable in this one. Then convections. the heat loss by air or water moving across the skin surface. That also you want to reduce. Then conductions, direct contact with the object. So we have to place some blankets or cloths and cover the infant properly. Then we have to place the infant on the surface. The next, radiation, we should see that all the doors, windows, at the center we are not placing the child near the fan. Those things has to be. The next, prevention of hypothermia is the best treatment, but if it occurs anyway, the following is the list of what you can do to relieve the cold stress. Increase ambient air temperature. Apply external heat sources like warm hat, warm blankets, chemical mattress. Avoid stressing the baby. Monitor skin temperature carefully, and when it normalizes, remove the external heat sources one at a time to prevent rebound hypothermia. Okay, so this is about revision of hypothermia.